Hello students, this is Professor Capko. I'd like to talk to you tonight about some things that students oftentimes have difficulty with, but they really shouldn't. Something that's relatively simple, and I want to make it as simple as possible for you. And that is order of operations. The order of operations is simply what order we perform the various mathematical functions. If we're faced with several different things, such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, we need to know what order to perform those in. So it may make a big difference as to what answer you get based on what order you do the operations in. So that brings us to, as I mentioned in the title, my mom's sister-in-law. My mom's sister-in-law is Aunt Sally. My dear Aunt Sally is who I refer to whenever I need to know what order of operations. A good way to remember that is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Some of you might know that as PEMDAS. PEMDAS is what some people call it. I like to say, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Of course, we work from top to bottom on any of these problems. So the P stands for parentheses. We're going to tackle parentheses first. The E is for exponents. So if we had something like x squared, the exponent is what is raising something to a power. M is multiplication. D is division, A is addition, and S is subtraction. So we're going to work from top to bottom on any of these problems. So let's see how that would work with a problem you might see. Let's say you have a problem that looks like this. 5, and let's say there's some brackets and some parentheses involved. Maybe the outermost might look like this, some brackets like this. And you have a 1 plus 4. And maybe there's an inner set of brackets. Looks like that. And some more numbers, such as 1 plus 4. And maybe even some inner parentheses, like this. 1 plus 4. Let's say your problem looks like that. On the back side, closing in all your groupings. So you might have a problem that looks like that. We want to tackle this in the proper manner. Because if we do it wrong, if we do it out of order, we're going to wind up with the wrong answer. So it makes a difference which order. And what order? Well, if we're ever in doubt, we need to just call up my dear Aunt Sally. So the first thing we need to do is parentheses. We deal with anything in parentheses. Well, we've got several different layers of parentheses. Even though some are brackets, we're going to talk about them all being parentheses. And so we want to deal with the innermost ones first. So these are some outer ones, and here's some inner ones, and then the innermost ones are this 1 plus 4. So we're going to tackle that first. So 1 plus 4, we can go ahead and tackle that. That's 5. What I want to do then, my recommendation is then you rewrite everything right underneath. We're going to carry it a step at a time. And I've got a 4 plus 1, and the outer brackets, and there was a 5. The next step, I've got parentheses here, but there's nothing to do to it. It's a 5. There's no more operations to do. So then I look outside of this, and I've got 1 plus 4, and then since the 4 is right next to the parentheses with 5 in it, this tells me to multiply. Well, so I now have a choice because I'm working within these brackets. Do I add first or do I multiply? Well, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I'm going to multiply before I add. This is where sometimes students will make the mistake of adding this and then multiplying. We need to multiply first. So 4 times 5 is 20. And then I'm going to have plus 1 here. So now I'm going to bring down all my brackets. The innermost parentheses went away. Got a 4 plus 1 brackets and a 5. If we had done it the other way, if I had 1 plus 4 is a 5, 5 times 5, we'd have 25. But that's not the correct answer. I've got, now, we're going to deal with the innermost parentheses, which are these brackets. So I've got 1 plus 20 is 21. So now I've got that set of brackets. Bringing it down, bring the outer brackets down. I've got a 4 plus 1. Each problem you want to take a step at a time like this. Next, I've got this bracket on the inside, but there's nothing to do. I just have the number of 21 in there, and I've got the outer brackets. So I've got 1 plus 4, and inside here I've got 21, and the 4 is right next to the bracket, so that's telling me to multiply. Same choice as before. Do I add first or do I multiply? Yes, you're right. You multiply. So I'm going to take my number of, I've got 4 times 21 is 84. So I multiplied that out, got plus 1. The inner bracket went away, so I just have these outer brackets and my 5. So now I've got only one set of parentheses, which are these brackets, 1 plus 84, and then I've got a 5 on the outside. Since it's right next to it, it's telling me to multiply. So we're going to add. So I've got 1 plus 84 is 85. Writing down my brackets. So I've got parentheses, nothing to do inside there anymore, and I've got a 5 next to it. So this is telling me to multiply. So I'm taking 5 times 85. 5 times 85 is 425. So the correct answer for this problem is 425. You could do the same thing with your calculator as long as your calculator has brackets in it or parentheses. If you enter the problem exactly as it appears originally, then you can put it all in there and hit enter. So if I were to, and I'm not sure if you can see the numbers on here too well, I can maybe zoom in a little bit. Let's try and zoom in. That's the best I can get. If I were to do it exactly like that, 5, and then parentheses, 1 plus 4, and then another set of parentheses, 1 plus 4, and the last set of parentheses, 1 plus 4, and then I close out the 3 sets of parentheses, hit the equal, and you can see I get 425. So that's how we do order of operations dealing with my mom's sister-in-law, my dear Aunt Sally. Always utilize my dear Aunt Sally. She'll keep you out of trouble. It's great seeing you all. If you enjoy these videos or you're getting some information that you find helpful, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and again, this is Professor Capko, and leave a comment down below so I can know if this made sense to you and if it was helpful. Thank you.